What's up, dog everybody? It's Torrential Downfall. Today we're heading to sunny California, but we're not here for the beaches. We're here to solve a crime before the police even know there's a suspect. Today we're talking about The Mentalist. While the early 2010s were flooded with a lot of these consultant detective TV shows, this particular show managed to pull a rabbit out of a hat and give us something truly haunting. Most TV detectives are superpowered in some ways. Sherlock has his mind palace. You can watch my views on Sherlock, the TV series in a previous episode. House has his medical genius. With Patrick Jane, his power is, as the show would suggest, mentalism. This is someone who uses mental acuity, hypnosis, and/or suggestion. He's a master manipulator of both thoughts and behaviours. Patrick Jane isn't a psychic. He's a master of observation, suggestion, and cold reading. He uses his background as a fraudulent medium to dismantle the lies of others. So using the guise of a psychic to almost, weed out the ones who are fake. Jane is the only one who can show up to dusty crime scenes in a three-piece suit, make a cup of tea in the victim's kitchen, and insult the lead detective, all while being the most charming person in the room. It's almost disarming. However, beneath the smiles and the myriad of card tricks, James is a man fueled by a singular, burning engine of grief. He's almost a functioning wreck. And Simon Baker plays that duality with incredible subtlety. The heart of the show isn't actually the detective agency he works for in the CBI. It's that tense friction between Patrick Jane and Teresa Lisbon. Lisbon is the law. Lisbon is his boss. She goes by the book, is very grounded, and takes a large responsibility for the team. Jane provides a sort of chaos. He's the kite flying in a hurricane, and she's trying to play that string that's holding him back down to earth. There was an element of a will they, won't they in the in the show in terms of whether they develop a relationship, but it wasn't anything that was too in your face. It was a bit of a slow burn, and it had a lot of platonic intimacy, which evolved in ways that you can find out were you to watch the show. But what Lisbon was portraying or trying to get to Jane in a message was a life beyond revenge. And what Jane was giving to Lisbon was, on the day-to-day, typically a lot of headaches, but also a lot of cleared cases. While Lisbon and Jane were the heart of the show, Red John was this really large, haunting villain. Red John wasn't just a serial killer. He was almost a mirror image of Jane. Where Jane used his mentalist skills to help people, Red John used them to build a cult-like empire of power and influence. A typical calling card that Red John would leave is a smiley face that was drawn in blood. This wasn't just a signature for those who know who'd done the crime. It was a taunt aimed at Jane. The show's brilliance lay in how Red John always seemed one step ahead, turning this typical police procedural into a psychological cat and mouse game that spanned years. The hunt for Red John defined the series' tone. It transformed the show from a typical one case a week show into a deep dive into how far a good man will go to get justice or vengeance. The Mentalist succeeds because it balanced that kind of Sherlock vibe, fun of solving puzzles, with a real, very dark heart. It's a show about a man who lost everything because of his own ego, trying to find a way back into life, into reality, into humanity. I'm giving The Mentalist an 8.5 out of 10. It was a 9 out of 10, but when it gets to the later stages, it has a slight drop off. But you know, I would definitely watch the whole series, and you'd understand why. It's, you know, a highly recommended watch. It's mandatory for anyone who likes mysteries and, you know, has an interest in psychological gameplay. But you know, what do you all think? Was Red John a big focal point? And you know, what was the ending of The Mentalist towards you? You know, feel free to let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and as always, as long as it hurts no one, do something nice for yourself today.